let's get right at it with Congressman Scott Perry from House Oversight. Congressman, great to see you. Biden insider Devin Archer, Hunter's close friend, testifies today to your committee. Your reaction? This is underscoring GOP accusations. This is the most corrupt presidency in U.S. history. That Biden systematically lied to the American people, covered up how he and his family profited off of overseas deals. What did you make of Hunter Biden accused of breaking foreign lobbying laws as Devin Archer testifies Hunter Biden put Joe Biden on speakerphone more than 20 times to, quote, sell the Biden family brand?
Yeah, so look, Devin Archer was Hunter Biden's partner. So if anybody would know, other than Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, Devin Archer would know. And so I think that these claims are credible. Number one, they fit the same pattern of everything that the House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means Committee with the IRS have established and documented at this point. What we know is this, is that the president said he had never discussed his business dealings with his son. We know that to be untrue right now based on the fact that 20 accounts linked to the Bidens were never disclosed. We know that they received over $17 million for selling something. Now, you can try and figure out what they were selling, but they got $17 million from foreign entities, foreign individuals. We also know now that Joe Biden, the brand, so to speak, was patched in on 20 different occasions. Just think about that. On a speakerphone, Joe Biden has no idea who's on the other end of the speakerphone, likely someone corrupt, certainly somebody from a foreign government, and likely an adversary or someone at least not necessarily with the United States' best interest first in their mind. And so all these things point to a complete burn down of corruption. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. And in this case, President Biden, through testimony, through damning testimony, and through all the evidence, has shown himself to be in just an inferno of corruption at the very highest levels. Yeah, I mean, bribery, bribery, and these things are things of a foreign, banana republic, not the United States of America, yet here we are.
The White House released a statement that this is fact-free, a goose chase. Devin Archer testifying that then Vice President Biden, quote, brought the most value to the brand. That's selling access, getting the big guy to pick up the phone. That's the deliverable. Is that grounds for impeachment?
Well, look, selling out the United States of America for your own personal aggrandizement at the peril of the United States of America is grounds for impeachment. And so that's exactly what we're talking about, selling access and influence peddling. And if that's, again, they got paid $17 million at a minimum. That's what we know for sure. What did the customer get for paying $17 million? Look, I'm not saying what the answer is, but you can try and figure out what it is.
Devin Archer also dropped this bombshell in testimony that Burisma's CEO and CFO, that Burisma had hired Hunter Biden to sit on its board, that the CEO and CFO of Burisma pressured Hunter and Joe Biden to shut down the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating Burisma for corruption. And Archer also testified that Burisma would have gone under if not for, quote, the Biden family brand, that the value of adding Hunter Biden to Burisma's board and access to Joe Biden was the Biden family brand.
That's exactly right. We also know that the leader of Burisma, Zlochevsky, said that the Bidens actually extorted him. And we also know that the prosecutor and this Victor Shokin at the time was not only investigating Burisma, but was investigating Hunter Biden. We also know, based on testimony, that they found nothing corrupt about the prosecutor general, but that he was relieved from duty because of President Biden, then Vice President Biden's overtures, which were then turned into $1 billion in loan guarantees. What does that sound like to you?
Yeah, and then let me just look through it because we've got more information coming in. Archer talking, too, about then Vice President Biden attending a business dinner in D.C. where Hunter and associates at Cafe Milano met with Elena Baturina, a Russian oligarch, the widow of the former mayor of Moscow, not on the sanctions list. That's the accusation, not on the Biden administration sanctions list. Baturina there. Let me turn to this. Archer testified in December 2015 that Hunter Biden met with the CEO and CFO of Burisma and, quote, called D.C. to discuss the Iranian prosecutor investigating Burisma. Is that call supposedly to Biden, Joe Biden?
Well, look, I don't have the phone records. I'm sure the FBI or the CIA can pull them up if they want to. But if that's the claim, again, that should be very concerning, because what we're talking about is influence peddling, where the family receives money for changing American policy, not based on what's good for America, but what's based on what's good for the Biden bank account or the Biden crime cartel bank account. That's the highest level of corruption. We're talking about now the president of the United States.
This is foreign lobbying. Hunter Biden was not registered as a foreign lobbyist. This is about pushing the interests of Ukraine, China, in Russia into the Obama White House. And the issue, too, is this is the exact same foreign lobbying violation that then Joe Biden accused General Michael Flynn of, and Paul Manafort was accused of it, too. Now we have two IRS whistleblowers testifying that Devin Archer and Hunter Biden set up together a shell company, Rosemont Seneca Bohai, to take in Hunter Biden's Burisma income so Hunter could cover that up, and he ended up evading taxes on that Burisma income starting in 2014. Can you wrap all of this up? Where is the impeachable offense here for a sitting president of high crime and misdemeanor?
The high crime and misdemeanor would be influence peddling and bribery. And I would also say, look, this doesn't just involve the president right now. It also involves the IRS and the Department of Justice and maybe the FBI through them for covering for the Biden family, whether it's failing to or choosing not to investigate to make sure that they slow walk past the statute of limitations, or literally calling the Biden family and tipping them off before search warrants are executed. No one else gets this kind of treatment in America. And as a matter of fact, General Flynn narrowly avoided jail. Paul Manafort did not.
Yeah, this is, we're going to be staying on the story. Congressman Perry, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah.